Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 4 of Vandals. I'm eSports Doug, I'm your host, and the guest that we have on the show today is none other than Gen.G's very own HUYNH. HUYNH, it is a pleasure to have you on the show. My dude, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I am doing absolutely well. I just remembered that I needed to turn off the commands on the Streamlabs, so I apologize. Again, HUYNH, thank you so much for joining the show. It's so good to have you folks. If you're watching Vandals for the very first time, let me give you a quick lay of the land of what to expect from the show. Every couple of weeks, I bring on a professional Valorant player, and we just get to know the guy a bit better, right? We talk about some of the person's background. We talk about what's happening in the meta right now, the interactions or maybe the complexities with the team, predictions, all sorts of stuff. And one of the neat things about the show is that you can ask questions as well. If you're watching this live and not on YouTube, go ahead and drop your questions in the chat. I will do my best to integrate them into the show once we get to that section of things. But for now, Danny, we're going to start you off nice and easy, as I try to always. Start us from the top, right? Tell us a bit about you. Tell us where you're from. Give us the easy things like that.
Okay. Well, my name is Danny. My last name is HUYNH. That's why my in-game name is HUYNH as well. I am from Montreal, Canada, from Quebec, so I'm French-Canadian. I speak 3 languages. I speak French, English, and Vietnamese. And I am 25 years old. I play for Gen.G in VALORANT.
All right, tell me, how did you get into gaming? What was your start there? What did that look like? What was the first game you remember playing?
I think the first video game I played was when my parents bought me a Game Boy. They bought me a Game Boy when I was young, and I think I played Pokemon or something.
Do you remember which one?
Blue, maybe? Blue or yellow? I don't remember.
All right.
One of those two. And then yeah, they bought me a Nintendo 64, and I played like GoldenEye and like Mario Party or something. Yeah. And Super Smash Bros. Yeah.
Heck yeah. It's like the best foundation. If you got GoldenEye, if you got Smash, you're good to go.
Yes, sir.
Tell me this, Danny. So you start off with a Game Boy, you play Pokemon, your parents buy it for you. It's a very like casual thing. When did that transition to something a little bit more serious? When did you, in your gaming adventure, realize, you know what? I'm pretty freaking good at this thing.
I think I've always played video games. It's just the first time that I actually played competitively was when I started playing this FPS called Soldier Front. It was a 5.5 FPS. It's pretty old.
You're gonna send me Googling, dude. Soldier Front?
Yeah, Soldier Front.
All right, I'm
so
Googling.
I played that, and then I think as I started playing and I got better, we started scrimming and playing against other teams, and that's when I started playing competitively in FPSs, and I played that for a while. Yeah.
So I'm
a pretty competitive person, so I think I just got hooked with competitive gaming since then.
How did you pick up this game? Was it a recommendation from a friend, or what even turned you onto this game? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was really my first FPS on PC. I used to play like Maple Story or Warcraft 3 before that.
Sure.
Then my friend told me to come try this game, and then I started it, and I liked FPS from then.
Now, let me ask you this, because there are some people who are not to make this sound cheesy or lame, but there are some people who are just born with it, right? Who are just naturally talented when it comes to keyboard and a mouse. Was that a difficult transition for you early on, or did it come very naturally?
It came pretty naturally because I was always on the PC. I actually suck at consoles, so thank God. Yeah, so I pretty much started playing PC games since I was young. I didn't. I think when I was younger, the only consoles I had were the Nintendo 64, and then I had an Xbox, but I didn't play much on the Xbox. I played like Halo, and that's it. And then I pretty much switched to PC right away.
All right, now let me ask you this. You mentioned you started off with Soldier Front was your first shooter on your first PC, and it was a very natural, like, I am competitive. This game facilitates some competitive play, so that's what I'm going to start doing.
Yeah.
Let's see. how has that competitive nature, how did that transition to the rest of your esports background? Because you can play Soldier Front, but once you transition into the Counter-Strikes of the world and now the Valorants of the world, those are obviously much larger stages, much brighter lights. How did you transition from Soldier Front to these other titles?
So I think the reason why I quit Soldier Front was because the game like was dying. Nobody played it at the end. We were playing like nationals or something, and there were only like, I don't know, 10 teams or whatever. So the game died. So I quit. I quit Soldier Front, and a lot of my friends were playing Counter Strike at the time. So I switched to Counter Strike, and then since I played Soldier Front for so long, I kind of picked up Counter Strike Easy because it's also a FPS 5v5 type of game. And I just had a few hours in CSGO, and I got the global elite pretty easily. So after that, I think I joined a team with some friends that I met on Faceit, and then we played one season. We were not bad in open, and then we won intermediate right after. So in 2 seasons, I made Mountain Dew League. I made MDL. If people don't know, it's the division right under pro. So in 2 seasons, I made that, and then I started playing in MDL for a few seasons, and I met some of my current teammates that I play with right now. I met them in CS.
I want to touch on something that we danced around a little bit earlier. I want to give this some more focus. You mentioned earlier on your parents got you a Game Boy.
Yeah.
So it sounds like from the beginning, they were at least slightly supportive, right? If not fully supportive. Tell me a bit about what the decision to fully commit to competing looked like. Was there pushback from friends and family? Did they support you? What was that like?
My parents always let me play video games as long as I focused on school and homework, and I did those things first, and then I could play. So I wasn't. They weren't very super strict because I had pretty good grades at school, so they didn't like. They weren't very like strict, and they didn't like restrict me from playing for so long and stuff. It's just I think my mom sometimes told me that I played too much video games, but my dad, as long as I had decent grades and I went to school and I was a good boy, then I could still play video games. However, when I started playing CSGO competitively and semi-pro, I think we started playing a lot more because we had to practice more and stuff.
Of course.
So I think by then my parents said that I should maybe take a break and stop playing so much and focus on school because I was in university at the time. And university is pretty important. So I'm sure that if I did not play that much, I would have better grades probably. So I think that's why they wanted you to study more. But I asked them to give me a few more maybe a year or so to maybe try to go pro at something at the Counter-Strike. And my parents were like, okay, but like after that, if that doesn't work out, they really want me to focus on school like fully. So I was like, okay. And I think by that time, I think Valorant was about to come out. So my friends and I, like all the Quebec scene in CS:GO, we were all friends. We all chilling the same team speak. So we were all like, let's try the game out and see if we like it or not. And then when the game came out, we played. We all got keys. We played the beta, and then we liked the game really much. So I think by then we all decided to maybe switch to Valorant. And then we played Valorant, and then we got a contract from Gen.G, and that's where I told my parents. I showed them the contract, and they saw it was like a real contract. You have salary and everything, so they were like, "Okay, you can, you can go, you can do this. You can do this if you want."
It took signing with a major esports organization for them to say, "All right, Danny, if you want to focus on this, you can do that."
Yes, sir.
That's actually a perfect segue because there's a question. I normally leave questions towards the end from folks on Twitter or Reddit or Twitch chat, but this feels like it segues really well. You touched on this a bit, but if you have any more insight, I'd love that. This is from Reality12 on Twitter. how did you convince your parents to let you go pro and do this as a living? It's something I'm struggling with right now. So you mentioned you got the contract. Obviously, that's an eye opener, right? Any parent who
Yeah.
comes home or who has their kid come home and say, "Hey, here's a contract. I'm going to be a professional player." Sure, that changes things, but maybe some of how you got there, how you massaged that relationship, how you massaged that conversation to even get to that point.
I think first of all, you need to have good grades. I think because if you have bad grades and you play all the time, I think your parents will be happy to do that. So
Right.
focus a lot on school, do your homework, do all you can to be good at school, and then you'll probably have a bit of time off to play video games, and also
Mm.
yeah, try to have a balance in life, have a good balance. I think I was pretty good at that. I used to go to the gym, see some friends, play video games, and do my homework and everything. I had a pretty good balance, and I was pretty good at scheduling my having a good schedule. So I think you should do that. And after that, I think maybe try to have like a deal with your parents. Like if you think you have what it takes to go pro, and obviously you put the time, your individual time to get better at the game and go pro, I think you can make a deal with your parents. Maybe like give me like 2 years.
Mm.
Maybe if you really want to, you could take like 1 year off of school to pursue your dreams. But you have to be realistic as well. Like
Hmm.
I actually thought that I had the talent to go pro, so I told my parents, give me 1 year or give me this, and then if it doesn't work out, then I'll just play casually and focus on school, stuff like that.
Mm. Oh, and obviously you did have the talent
Yeah.
to go pro in a very comfortable way. Danny, let me ask you this. How has the competitive space in particular, how has competitive gaming, how's esports, how has that impacted you personally? And I don't just mean your competitive drive. I mean Danny as an entire person. How has this had a lasting impact on you?
Think since the because I played a lot of like let's say when I was in MDL and CS:GO, we used to practice a lot, and I didn't have much time off to. I started maybe sacrificing my IRL time to like I didn't go out much. Sometimes I missed out on like friend gatherings. Sometimes my friends were doing stuff, and I didn't. I had like a tournament or had practice or whatever, so I couldn't really go with them. And then during the summer, you know how like people sometimes when we were at school, people don't have they have like summer jobs and stuff, so they work during
Right.
the week,
Hmm.
and I practice like on their days off and whatever. So I
Hmm.
think I missed out a lot on that. And yeah, I just missed out a bit on my teenage years, I think, but I
Hmm.
think it was worth it in the end. I'm glad. I'm happy with where I'm at right now.
On
With
a Go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, that's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
On a similar vein, what would you say is one of the larger misconceptions that people who are not professional players or who are not full time in the esports space, what's a common misconception you think that people have about being a professional player that they don't understand?
That's a good question.
That one's a curveball too. I'm sorry. I dropped that one on you.
Yeah. Um, I think people think that when you're a professional player, you just game, you just play for fun. It's super easy. Like you just play the game that you like, and you just have fun, and it's super easy. But in reality, it's pretty hard because
Mm.
you play when like let's say that you're like, oh, do you game all day? You game from like 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. It's like the dream job. It's super easy. I wish I was you, stuff like that. But
Mhm.
in reality, it's pretty draining. You have like what our practice schedule looks like is from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. we do VOD reviews, we do server time, we do whatever we need to fix our stuff, and then we from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. we scrim teams. We scrim like pro teams. So that's a lot of scrimming. We have maybe we have an hour break during those scrim times. So that's a lot of it's a lot of playing, and it's not just like casual playing. It's like we're scrimming teams. We're trying our hardest the whole time. So during all of those scrims, right, during all of that practice time, you have to be focused. You have to listen. You have to be on point. You're playing like the top players like sorry, of the top
you're
players
you're fine. You're fine.
of like your region or whatever. So you got to be always on point. You always got to be focused. It's not that easy. It's not like you're just playing for fun in a casual rank, then you can just run around and stuff. So I think that's one of the, in my mind, one of the misconceptions that people have. Like they think it's super easy, but it's nice. It's for sure very nice. I love what I do. It's my dream right now, but it's not that easy. It's like you have to be on point.
It's work. Yeah.
Yes,
At the end of
sir.
the day, it's work. Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, let's pretend there's a world in which Danny did not transition from Soldier Front, excuse me, to CS. Or let's say that you had your CS career and then you transitioned to Valorant. You did not get picked up by Gen.G, right? Like, let's imagine that for a moment.
Okay.
What would
What would I be doing?
Yeah, what would life look like for you if that was the case?
Well, I was in university before so this year I was still in university. I was finishing my degree in. I just switched to finance. I used to be in aerospace engineering for 2 years. I wasted 2 years doing that, and then I switched to finance, and I was finishing that, and then we got a contract to play pro in Valorant. So I decided to take a break from school, from university for that. So if I wasn't doing Valorant right now, then I'd probably be finishing my degree in finance and yeah, finding a job and just doing normal stuff.
Yep. Living that 9 to 5, sure.
Yep, yep.
Now let's talk a bit about Gen.G, right? Let's transition towards the to more of Gen.G as a whole. The roster itself that you guys are playing with today, for someone who may not be as familiar with your CS background, break that down for us. How did this roster come to be?
Well, most of us, like FE's Michael and Gen.G, we played together for a long time in CS. We were before we switched to Valorant. Actually, we were on a team in CS:GO. So when we decided to switch to Valorant, we were playing together and stuff in the beta. We were just playing for fun and ranked. And then I think there was a time where there was a pretty decent tournament coming out, and we wanted to play it. And I think player one was the one that just made a team, and he was like, "Oh, you guys want to play together?" And then we were like, "Sure." At the time, I didn't think we didn't. I don't think anybody thought it was like, "Oh, we're making a team." It's just we were just signing up to play a tournament just for fun. So it was me, player one, well, our whole team right now. We just played the tournament, and I think we had a pretty good result. So I think that we were like, okay, let's just keep signing up for tournaments, and then we won a few. So I think that's how the team formed up. It was really just player one being like, oh, I want to play with this guy, I want to play with this guy, I want to play with this guy, and then we formed the team and it went well.
That's wild. One of a team that many would consider one of the top 5 teams in North America was just put together because they decided that they wanted to play in a random tournament.
Yeah.
At one point.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the background of the organization? How does Gen.G as an org really unlock this roster to be its best?
That's you mean how we got signed by Gen.G? Is that what you mean?
Well, and like more so the infrastructure, the support that they give you. How does Gen.G as an organization allow this roster, this group of guys, to be as good as they have been?
Okay. Well, I have to give a shout out to our coach, Blank. He's the one that scouted us, and he's the one that's coaching us right now. So it's because of him that we are signed with Gen.G right now. And also, he gives very, very, very good input. He helps us a lot in everything that we do. I think he's a very smart individual. He thinks very rationally, and pretty much everything he says makes a lot of sense. And it's very everything he says is pretty very well thought. So whenever we have problems or whatever, he always has a solution or something something smart to say, and I think it's been helping us a lot. So for sure, our coach Blank is one of the reasons why we are pretty good. And other than that, I mean, Gen.G has been treating us very well. They when we signed the contract with them, they give us we asked for things. They always said yes, 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 yes. Obviously, it was like not reasonable things that we asked for, and they always said yes,
Not a
yes, yes.
Lexus or a Tesla or a nothing like that.
No, 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 no. So they so far it's been great. They just everything that we need they give us, and we just focus on performing and playing well and practicing.
The roster in my and I have gone on a couple of different shows and I have said this, and I'll double down here while I'm talking to you. I firmly believe that Gen.G as a roster is one of the most fundamental rosters to play the game, right? Like this is one of the more complete, more sound, more like by the book teams that play Valorant. Give me a peek behind the curtain, if you will, when it comes to the dynamic between you guys, the personalities that come out. How do all of you guys mesh together as a team? Is there anybody that's exceptionally outspoken? Tell me a bit about that.
I think everybody has a voice in the team. You know how like in CS it was mostly like one IGL and it's one guy that's just saying micromanaging people, telling people what to do, and people just follow. In this game, I think it's very different because there's so many agents, so many abilities. Everybody sees different things. So in this game, we have a main IGL. Right now, it used to be GMD, our IGL, but this week or last week we changed to FEs so that GMD could start fragging more and focusing on just killing people because I think we were lacking a bit of firepower. So FEs is the IGL, but we all give input. Like a lot of rounds, it's gonna be like somebody saying, "Yo, they do this, we should do this," and we just do that. So I think a lot of our games, what's good for our team is that we give some input to our IGL, and sometimes we even call the strat for the round, and it usually works out. Obviously, we have people the team that speak less, that are more quiet.
Sure.
But I think that's normal in everything. There's not always going to be like 5 guys talking all the time. So we have people that are more quiet, but don't think that's a problem. And we all mesh well together for real. Mike, FEs, and GMD, we played together for a while. We have good chemistry. And Kev, player 1, played with FEs and GMD for a long time before he stopped playing CSGO. So we all have really, really good chemistry. We are all friends. So I think that's a good thing for us that made us a top team in Valorant. We just have good chemistry, and whenever there's a problem, we never take it personally. We just fix it right away. There's no bad blood. There's no like bitchy stuff. We just want to win. So we fix the problem and we move on. And when there's another problem, we talk it out and we move on again. Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
Well, and that's one of some of what you just described is criminally underrated. When you think about championship caliber teams and honestly organizations that put together dynasties, you think about across any esport, that's one of the common trends. That's one of the common themes is you've got guys who at the end of the day are able to and are more than willing to put their ego aside because they just want to win, right? Like that's all they're focused on. So that's really dope to hear on the side of Gen.G. Speaking of success, how good is this roster? How much potential is left untapped?
I think so far every tournament that we've played, I don't think we reached our full potential yet because like we tried a lot of things. Like for the past few tournaments, it was Gen.D IGLing, and he's a good IGL. He has some awesome calls. I think the problem was we were lacking firepower because when he's IGLing, he frags a bit less than when he used to not to when it was back to FEs. And I think after the last tournament that we played, FE suggested that he started IGLing again and that GMD focuses mostly just on fragging because we were missing, we were lacking firepower, like I said. So I think just that is going to help us a lot. We just need to get used to back to FE's IGLing. We have to do a lot more server time. We have to fix a lot of things, but I think on the long run it's going to be better. Just need to fix some comps. We changed a lot of comps. We changed we also, oh yeah, I didn't say this. you know how we used to speak French in Gen.G? We're all French Canadians, so we all speak French. Our comms were in French. The problem with that was that our coach Blank doesn't speak French, so he couldn't understand like in game when he just helped us like in server time and like post game post match. He was like, oh, I think this is what happened. Am I right? Oh, then he helped us. So for after the last tournament, so basically this week we decided to change a lot of things. We switched IGLs. Yes, we F uses IGLing. We changed languages. We're speaking English now. Everybody's speaking English. I think some people for some people it's easier. For some people it was a bit of a change. But so far I think it's been going pretty well. Like the comms are less hectic, and our coach can help us, so that's a bonus. And what else did we change? We changed comms too. On a lot of maps, we've been trying out the Breach on a few maps.
The recent buffs are nuts.
Yeah, Reach is pretty nice right now. And I don't know, we were just trying out stuff and trying to switch our defaults up and stuff. And I think FE's has been putting a lot of time to just preparing for our practices. When you go in server time, you know that last night he went over a lot of stuff and he's very prepared. So I think just that is going to help us a lot. And I think everybody on the team is very talented. There's not a guy on the team that I'm like, oh, this guy is not that good. Like I think everybody on the team can be the top frag. I just think it's a matter of showing up in matches when it matters. But pretty much there's no weak link on the team, so that's what I like about our team right now. But for to answer your question, I just think we need time. We need time to fix our stuff, and I think we'll start winning tournaments soon.
You know, you mentioned showing up for matches that matter. Because I'm a nerd. I was looking up like stats and match history across the entirety of GenG's career, and you guys consistently play the TSM, the Cloud9s, the Sentinels of the world really close. You take them to 3 games in a best of 3, and there are best of 1s where you'll take a couple of matches over those squads. So you play them very close, but GenG seems to be left out of the top 3 conversation. What would you say is the biggest obstacle to breaking into that group? And as a follow-up, those things that you just mentioned, changing the IGL, the language, all of those things that you guys are working on behind the scenes, is that what it takes to overcome that obstacle and break into that top 3 conversation?
Of course, it's going to help. We just need more time to figure out everything and get used to it. So that's going to help for sure. But the main thing is, we play close games against TSM, against Cloud9, against Sentinels, whatever. And I feel like so far, except for Immortals, they just sometimes they just shit on us. They have the players that when they're on point and then they have the good reads, we just get shit on and there's no chance. There's no way we win those type of games. Yeah, that they play well. But for the other teams like Sentinels, Cloud9, TSM, I think every time we've lost, it was tight and it was just a battle of who makes more mistakes. I feel like it's not like every time we lost to those teams, it's not like, oh wow, they outplayed us, they played very well. It's just that we made major mistakes on important rounds that made us lose the game. And I feel like all of those games, we watched the VODs right after we watched everything, and every time it's always the same thing. It's always like, oh, we could have won that if we didn't fuck up this round, if we didn't fuck up this thing, then we would have won. So I think we just need to learn from our mistakes, stop making dumb, stupid mistakes. And like I said, I think at this level, it's literally just whoever makes the less mistakes that wins the matchup, because everything is so tight. And this game is pretty random. I don't know if you.
Yeah. Yep.
It's pretty random. Like pistol rounds, you win pistol rounds, it's 2 rounds. You win both pistol rounds, 4 rounds. Versus 13. You have ult advantage since you win pistols and anti-ecos. It's pretty rough when you lose both pistols. So yeah.
Yep. Let's transition a bit. Let's talk about the recent patch, right? It was a big patch in the Valorant space. There were changes to Viper, Sage, Breach, guns. I want to talk through a couple of those things. Let's start off with Viper. Viper has consistently been non-existent. And the reasons why are very well documented. For a very long time, many people have said, quite frankly, she just sucks. She's not good in a team setting. She did just receive quite a few buffs. One of the more interesting ones is her ult no longer hurts teammates when they walk in there with her. Does that do much, in your opinion, to make Viper viable, or is she still completely non-existent?
I think Viper is viable right now with the new buffs. I just think that there isn't many good players with it, like with the agent. I don't think there's a lot of good players with it. So I think that's one of the reasons maybe why teams don't want to try her or whatever. They don't want to give her the chance. However, I've seen like Tens is a good Viper. I've seen Tens play with her. I think they could make it work, but I don't think his role fits Viper. But I've seen people do pretty nice things with Vipers. I think she's viable. It just depends on the team and on the players that use her. I have a friend. He's pretty good at Viper. I've seen him do nice things with her. So I think his team's gonna be pretty good with it.
All right, we'll leave that one alone. I won't ask any more questions on that. Talk to me about Sage. Sage just got nerfed into the ground. She was already kind of working her way out of relevancy, and then they freaking ran over her with a truck. Do you expect Sage to be almost a non-factor at this point? Has she been nerfed too far?
Yeah, I think she's just it's over. Just Sage is dead. Like I haven't since they nerf Sage again. I've never seen the Sage in scrims. We've been scrimming for 5-6 days now since the update, and no Sage, no Sage,
no Sage so at all. She's dead.
She's just dead. She's dead. Even in ranked, I rarely see her. I think I've been playing a lot of ranked for the past week. I've been streaming a lot, and I think I've seen like one Sage.
All right, let's talk Breach. Breach very recently received quite a few buffs. One of the more interesting ones is he has 3 flashes now. Tell me about Breach. Do we expect to see a lot more Breach? Does that kind of make Breach nutty at this point? Do you think it's gone too far?
I think Breach is OP right now. 3 flashes is insane. His stud got buffed. It's just too good not to be played right now. I think teams will be running Breach a lot more, and I think we're running Breach on every map right now. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So yeah, it's 3 flashes is insane. It's actually insane.
I've seen a couple of clips on on Reddit and on Twitter of people who have been flashed by 3 breaches in a row, or by 3 flashes in a row, and it just looks like for a good 30 seconds, it seems like it's just staring into a screen. Yeah,
it's crazy.
All right, Phantom Vandal. At the beginning of the game, it seemed like it was a 50-50. Then by large, the professional scene seemed to pivot over to the Phantom for a myriad of reasons, but the Vandal just recently got a couple of buffs as well. I want to get your thoughts on those two, and then, especially as someone who comes from the CS background, you can have you can have two primary rifles in the Counter-Strike space because you play on 2 sides, right? Is it possible in Valorant to have 2 primary rifles?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people use the Phantom CT side. Because you can, when you anchor a site or when they run at you, there's probably a lot of people, so it's easier to multi-frag with a Phantom, right? Because it shoots faster and you can spray transfer better, and it's less, it's more forgiving the sprays. So I think CT side Phantom is a bit better, and when you're T-sided, I think Vandal could also be your weapon because the long range, you can choose your fight, so you can I don't know, if when you are the T-sided player, usually you swing and you peek people that are standing still, so it's pretty easy to headshot. So the one-shot headshot on the Vandal is pretty nice. So I think the Vandal is definitely viable right now. I think it's super good. But me personally, I stick with the Phantom because I play Jet, and when I play Jet, I can just dash in people's faces, and it's close range. So Phantom is still pretty good. So that's why I stick to the Phantom. But if I would be playing other agents, I think I would actually play Vandal, maybe T-side or whatever.
Speaking of Jet, I want to get your thoughts on the op. People talk a lot about the op and whether or not it's overpowered. Should it be nerfed? It's too strong, yada yada. What are your thoughts as somebody who handles the op quite well?
I don't think the op is overpowered at all. I think there's a lot of ways to counter it. What I think is overpowered is op plus jet. That I think is a little bit OP because I could just peek risky stuff and get away with it. So that's why I think it's a bit OP. But the op itself I don't think needs any counter, nothing, because it's very slow compared to CS. So like at all. In CS, you could do a lot of things with the op. It's actually super good, but in Valorant, I feel so slow with it. Like it's not as good as people think. It's just if you're good with the op and you have good positioning, then you'll get a lot of kills. But I think there's a counter to the op. You have smokes, you have flashes, you have a lot of utility. You can jiggle, you could jump jiggle, whatever. There's a lot of things that you could do to counter the op. So I do not think it's OP at all.
Let's talk Killjoy. We've seen one full tournament, Pop Flash, that had Killjoy. They were early on. It looked like Killjoy was going to be pretty useless on the attacking side. There were a couple of teams. We only saw her 11 times in the entire tournament, and there was one team who's slipping my mind right now. I talked about this on the ESPN show on Monday, that used her a ton, and then it was pretty scattered the rest of the way. What are your thoughts on Killjoy? And how she fits currently?
I think Cypher's better. Not gonna lie, I think Cypher's better. But I've seen a lot of good players. Well, not a lot. Like I think she could be good if you know how to use her well. And I think the only person that I've seen use her very well is Steel from 100 Thieves. We scrimmed 100 Thieves. I think he really impressed me with Skilljoy. Other than that, I don't think she's that good. But still made her good. Still made her good. But the other teams that we play Killjoy against, I don't think it's that good. Like it's pretty. I don't know. I think Cypher makes it harder on us. So I'm glad when people play Killjoy against us.
All right, let's talk about Dignitas. Dignitas has been a fascinating story, right? Since they've come onto the scene, they look really good. Most recently, they 2-0 TSM at Pop Flash, and then they lose every other series that they play. Is there a detailed nuance to team-specific matchups that most people just don't understand? Or in your opinion, what was the large contributing factor to their performance?
I think it is a thing. I think that when you play against, like, let's say us, it used to be Sentinels. When we used to play Sentinels, we used to get just rolled because of their playstyle. I think every team has a counter to their playstyle, and I think Dignitas, how the way they play is just the counter to TSM's playstyle. But also, I think Dignitas have been studying them a lot. They probably did their homework. They know how they play, and they try to counter shot them, and it worked pretty well. I think that's why they beat only TSM and not the other teams. But however, I still think it is true that some teams' playstyle just play better against other teams. That's why, like, when we play Sentinels, we change our whole playstyle. We play differently just to play better against them. And I think since we've done that, we won a best of 3 against them, and the other best of 3s, it was very, very tight. We went to 3 maps and stuff. So. I think it is definitely a thing. You just sometimes it's just unfortunate. Sometimes you play against a team and they just roll you because it's like that team is your kryptonite or whatever.
Sure. All right, one more question, and then I want to cut. I want to leave some time for questions from Twitter and Twitch chat at the end. We have not, because of COVID, had the privilege of having a LAN, which also means we have not had the opportunity for North America versus Europe. And there have been a couple of shots that have been taken, and it's been a lot of fun. But I want to get your thoughts on the matchup between NA and EU. Which region is stronger? What are your thoughts on that? Is it even a matchup?
I haven't watched many of the European teams. For so far, what I've watched, I didn't watch much. I feel like Europe teams rely more on their aim and taking duels and stuff. From what I've seen, it's not very organized. It's not like a lot of strats and stuff. So I definitely think that they would get punished against the NA teams, against the top NA teams. but I think we'll just have to see when there's an actual LAN. I personally think that NA would crush EU, but I could be wrong. We will have to find out.
You heard it. You heard it, folks. And it would crush EU. All right, let's transition over to questions from the crowd. Hot Dog, you're going to be up first. Just asked it in Twitch chat. What's been your favorite Valorant moment so far?
Favorite Valorant moment? Winning the first tournament, winning the T1 T1 Invitational when we just got signed. That was one of my favorite moments so far.
This one's from Sammy on Twitter. He wants to know, what kind of agent would you like to see implemented next and why?
Probably Haler, because Rip Sage.
Rip Sage.
Yeah, Rip Sage.
This one's from Nerfed on Twitter. I know you saw this one. And it's probably the hardest hitting question that we're going to have on the entire interview. What's your favorite Dave & Buster's game?
I actually don't even know. I think I've been there once in my life, and it was when I went to Philadelphia with them. So I don't even know the name. It's like probably like you throw the ball in a circle or some shit. I don't know. I don't know how it's called. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
All right. Turning over to I'm gonna butcher your name. I apologize. I'm RX3E. I'm RXE from Twitter. Who is the best Jet in the game?
Mechanically, I think Tens. I think Tens is the best Jet mechanically.
All right.
Yeah, Tens.
Aloe, I see you in Twitch chat. What do you think of the current tournament ecosystem for Valorant right now? This is actually a really good, timely question too.
So far it's not bad. It's not bad. We have tournaments every 2 weeks or whatever. We take a break. I think it's nice right now. I think it's nice where it is right now. I just I wish there were more Ignition series, so that because right now I think there's no more till the end of the year.
Correct.
So that kind of sucks. But I've heard good things coming up. That I don't even know. Can I leak? No, I can't leak.
You can leak if you want.
I thought that's just something about it's good for the next tournaments. Riot allowed something. Riot allowed something, and it's gonna be good for the next tournament. So I'm happy with that.
Let me ask you this, and this kind of alludes to a question that we talked about earlier, but I want to dig into this a little bit more. Danny, what advice would you give your younger self when you're when it comes to thinking about making it as a professional player?
I should have not played Soldier Front. I should have went to Counter-Strike 1.6 or whatever, or Counter-Strike Source right away, and I think I would have made pro a lot faster. But other than that, probably be patient. Be patient and be humble, and just grind hard and not be lazy. I think not be lazy is a good one, because I don't know. Like I used to be like pretty lazy and not grind too much. I would just play the game and not focus on getting better. I would just playing for fun. And if you really want to be good at this game, if you want to really improve, you gotta play and put your time and like use your time well to improve. And I think that's my advice for my younger self.
And I want to piggyback off of that a little bit. When you say things like use your time well, in case there are folks who are hanging out in the chat who have professional player aspirations, when it comes to Valorant in particular, I'd love your thoughts. When you say use your time well, what does that look like? Does it look like reviewing film, things like that? What does that entail? Yeah,
a lot of and CS:GO I didn't do much demo reviewing until I was an IGL. So, and it's just, I don't think it should be only IGLs. Like when you watch VODs or demos of other players, you learn new things, you learn new setups, you learn how to play your spots, how to play your game. I think that's one of the good things to do for your time. And also like just like whenever I didn't do. I started doing this in CS. It's just whenever I die, I think about what I could have done better, what I did wrong, what was the best play there, and I try to learn from every time I die. And I feel like some people just like play for fun and then they die. fuck it, I died, unlucky, and then they move on. And I think if you want to get better, I think you need to start doing that. And yeah, other things like I don't know, do aim training or whatever. Practice your spray control. Practice your flicks, whatever. Like use your time efficiently.
All right, last question from you from Twitch chat. Do you think that your Soldier Front experience is viable for Valorant, even though you just said that you should have switched earlier?
It helped, but I think my CS experience helped me a lot more. Like my Soldier Front experience helped me for just the FPS, like aiming and shooting and stuff. But my CS experience helped me a lot more, just for like the 5v5, plant the bomb, defuse the bomb, just the fundamentals and everything. Yeah, mainly the fundamentals for CS and counter strafing, aiming the head, dragging down, stuff like that. That a lot of that came from CS.
All right, Danny. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, if you wanted to follow up, by all means.
Yeah, I think the reason why I am pro at Valorant now is because of CS. Because I have a lot of hours in CS. I think all of us, all of the CS players, we gotta thank CS for that. I think so.
If people want to find you on social media, this is a perfect opportunity for you to plug all of your channels. Plug your stream, your Instagram, your Twitter, your anything. Where can people find you to keep up with you and to keep up with the team?
At HUYNH_CS for Twitter. I tweet every time I stream. I tweet. I update everything for my tournaments and everything. If we win, if we lose. At HUYNH_CS on Twitch as well. I try to stream a lot. I've been streaming like 7 times out of the last 8 or 9 days. So I've been streaming a lot recently. And my Instagram is, I think it's danny.huyn. And my YouTube is HUYNH_CS as well. So 3 of them are HUYNH_CS, and my Instagram is danny.huyn.
You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Go follow this man on all of those platforms. Do it right now before you forget or before something happens and you don't get the opportunity. Do it now. Danny, parting words, any final shout outs, anyone you'd like to thank, anything like that?
Shout out to GenG. It's the best org I've been with so far. They are very nice people. The staff is super nice. Our coach is nice. The org is nice. Everything's nice. And shout out to my teammates. I love them a lot. They are very, very nice individuals. We're all friends. They are very good at the game, and I like them a lot. And shout out to our fans, man. Everybody watching our games, watching our streams, passing by, saying nice words. We've been getting a lot of nice comments, like Twitter DMs or just like mentions on Twitter saying that they support us, or like they were like TSM fans and then they watched us play and then they became fans of us and they like how we play and that they tell us that we're good and stuff. So I appreciate everybody that takes their time to say things like that to us. It means a lot.
Folks, and thank you for hanging out and for tuning into episode 4 of Vandals. I would love any requests or recommendations on anything that you can think of that could improve the show, or any guests that you would like to see moving forward. Same goes for those of you who may be watching this on YouTube after it's uploaded. If there's any feedback you have for the show or anybody you would like to see on the show, please let me know in the comments below. But that is going to wrap it up. Again, thank you to everyone who tuned in and enjoyed the content. I hope you had as good a time as I did, and I hope you ultimately got to know Danny a little bit better. But that's going to wrap it up for episode 4. Folks, we love you. Thank you so much. Have a good night.